What? Hey guys, what's up? Bobby K back here at Big Go Hobby, and here we have the brand new Dynam Hawker Hunter. This thing has some really cool new features coming from Dynam that you usually don't see. It has all ball link clevises, brand new upgraded retracts, and then a brand new 2 Dynam 6S power system. It's a 2200 kV paired with an 80 amp ESC, and then calls for a 6S 3300 battery. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this build video and see how it goes together. Alright, so for our first step, per the manual, we are going to insert our carbon rod into the fuselage here and then get our wing set put on. Alright. Go ahead. This has nice connectors also, guys, so it's really easy to take your wings on and off of the plane. It's one connector for your ailerons, flaps, and your lights, and you're good to go. Alright, plug this in real quick here. Then you might have to flip it over too, because there is like a little channel in here that these wires will tuck into, so it seams nicely. Alright, so now that we have our wing on there, we're going to go ahead. There's going to be 2 screw sets. You're going to get a longer screw set and a shorter one. The long one goes up front in the meat of the wing, and the little one's going to go in back. Go ahead and tighten these up, and that takes care of that side. Then we'll go ahead and repeat this process for the other side. Alright, look at that beaut. So now that we have the wings on, we're going to go ahead and get the tail section all put together here. So for the first thing you're going to want to do on the tail section here is remove these 4 screws and take off this cover right here, and that's going to give you access to your servo wires in the back. Alright, so once you have this plate taken off in the back here, you're going to find the access to all your wiring. And then what's nice about this is the plate is lower than where you glue on the vertical, so you can actually access this stuff to service it without having to break your glue joint to remove it for any necessary repairs. Also, what was interesting though is I did find a little bit of tail weight in the back. Curious to see how necessary that will be. Using a 3300 of the recommended battery. We might experiment and take that out after our maiden flight and see how she acts, but yeah, we're going to leave it in there, of course, because they probably put it in there for a reason. But yeah, just thought I'd point that out. It's pretty interesting. Alright, so now that that's off, we're going to go ahead, take our carbon spar for the rear tail here, insert it right there. And then they give you supplied glue that you can use on it. I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy. That's what I usually use most of the time on this stuff. This glue works great also. I just prefer 5-minute epoxy. It kind of speeds up the build process a little bit, and I like the bond a little bit more. Alright, so now that our tail section has cured, we're going to go ahead and plug in our elevator servos right here. Make sure the polarity is correct. Alright, now once you've done that, you're just going to want to go ahead and tuck these wires back in here and then put the plate and a little bit of added weight back in the tail section. And these plates, as you can see, do have a slight curve to them, so that way you do know that this is the top, the flat is the bottom. Alright, so now that we have all of our electronics plugged into it, the gear kicked down on it now, you can see it has some really nice navigation lights on the wingtips here. One thing I want to go over before we end this video is the CG on this bird. So book recommendations are 140 millimeters to 145 millimeters back from the top leading edge of the wing. And I say top because this does have a slight slant to it on the ducting right here. So you're going to want to make sure you go off the top edge or your CG will not be right. As far as CG goes though, there is that little metal piece of lead that I showed you guys in the tail during the build. That I actually took out and moved to the nose of the aircraft, and then I'm using a Genzace 3300 6S battery, and I have that pushed all the way forward. And I had to do that in order to hit my CG, and even doing that, I still went back to 160 millimeters from the top leading edge of my wing to get to where I liked it and felt comfortable with it on my CG. So that's just something I wanted to point out to you guys while building this and doing your CG. Some of you guys running bigger packs might not have to do any of that. Running a 4000, I think you're gonna be all right because that's a little bit heavier pack. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and point that out to you guys, and yeah, there's going to be future videos coming, so don't forget to check out the flight video and maiden. That'll be out soon, and then if you haven't checked it out already, check out the unboxing video as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and then check out Pilot Ryan Media on YouTube because he's going to be doing the release on this beautiful bird when it drops on BitGo Hobby's website, so be sure to stay tuned, and yeah, can't wait to see you there. See you guys.